Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing another landscape painting tutorial, and I'm just so excited about this one because we'll be doing some waterfalls. And yeah, I'll be linking in the description box below the reference image that I'll be using for today's painting tutorial. But even if we're using a reference image for this one, most probably I will what do you call this? I will deviate from the reference image, and I'll be doing some not style, some subjects that, or some parts of the picture that you will not see in the reference image. I don't know, but I'm sure things will change in my painting. All right, so the colors that we'll be using for today's painting tutorial are actually written in the description box of my video. You can check that out, but I'll still mention it to you. So we have here burnt sienna, phthalo green, titanium white, mid yellow, we have black, and phthalo blue. So as you can see here, I have a canvas, a gray canvas. It's gray because I painted something over it, and I didn't want to retain the painting underneath, so I just painted over it. So let's begin now, guys. I'm going to sketch first the subject, and for the sketch portion, I'll be using just burnt sienna, maybe add tiny bit of black. Okay, and as you can see as well, if you notice, I'm using a smaller canvas for this one. This is like a size 10 by 12. So I'm gonna identify first where the rocks are gonna go. Like that. And in here, this will be the water area. Okay, so I'm just gonna underpaint the rocky portion of the picture. So for the underpainting, I'm just gonna use my black and brown. I'm not really mixing or blending, I'm just applying the two colors. Right, just like that. Let's see underpainting for the rock portion, because the waterfall will be right in the middle of these rocks. Okay. So now I will underpaint the water part, so wash your brush out. So for the water, I'm just gonna use my black, okay, and then my phthalo green, okay. Just mix the two together, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna use some darker greens. I'm gonna apply black to my green. And I'm gonna continue all the way down, but as I go down, I'll be adding some white. Okay, yeah, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna allow this first to dry, okay, before I move on to highlighting or detailing them. So I'm gonna underpaint the sky. Actually, the gray paint is actually a good underpainting for the sky. But I'm still gonna do a second layer of underpainting. I'm gonna dab on to my blue phthalo. I'm gonna add some white to create some light blue color. And oops, I'm touching. I forgot that it's still wet. Okay, I'm just gonna apply some blue colors to the sky portion. Okay, I'm gonna add more white right here. All right. Okay, again, if you want to add more white. Alright, like that. I'm just gonna allow that first to dry. Let's move on to the rocky portion of this painting. And I also have here with me my palette knife. Oh, I don't have my palette knife, but if you have it, you should get it. I'm gonna get it later. Okay, now for the detailing here, I'm just gonna get like a stiff brush. It's an old brush of mine that I don't use very often, and well, recently I haven't been using this brush because again it's quite old already, so I found it again and I prefer to use this now. As you can see, it's quite old and dried, so it's really good for detailing rocks. So I'm just gonna dab onto my brown. I'm gonna get my white and mix them together. And I'm gonna use this color to create some patterns. And because my brush is quite stiff and old, it's creating that texture on the rocks that I really want to see. So yeah, kind of like the effect of the stiff bristles. So I'm just gonna make some vertical applications. Like this. Okay, now without washing my brush, I'm just gonna dab onto my black. And I'm gonna apply that black color in between and I'm gonna use as well my fingers to apply it. I'm gonna darken this area. Okay, I'm gonna switch to a softer brush to darken this area. I'm gonna get my phthalo. I'm gonna add some greeny colors. Like that. Okay. We're not yet done with the rocks because it has to be detailed even further later. Just gonna get my black, apply it here. I will create some horizontal lines as well to make it, you know, more, as much as possible we try to make it look more realistic. And as I told you, we are not yet done with the detailing on the rocks, so I'm gonna get back to my old stiff brush. I'm gonna dab onto my white. I'm gonna add some yellow. I'm gonna add some yellow, and I'm gonna use this color to add more details on the rocks. And I'm moving in a vertical motion. You apply this quite randomly on the surface. You don't want to do any particular pattern or circle or anything like that, because as much as possible we want it to look natural. All right, okay. I'm gonna get back to my pure burnt sienna, just applying it randomly. Okay, I'm gonna get back to my black. All right, like that. Okay, wash your brush out, and we're gonna go back to that for more detailing later. So I think what we're gonna do now is to identify where the water is gonna fall, because we're painting some waterfalls. So still I'm gonna use my old stiff brush. I'm gonna dab onto my white, okay? I'm gonna mix with a tiny bit of black to make it a little gray, or like a little dirty white. And I'm just gonna underpaint the water area using that color. And when I do the brush strokes, I follow the patterns of water, which means it should be in a vertical direction, because waterfalls, you know, it's flowing down, so we should follow the flow of nature. Even if it's just the underpainting, it kind of makes a difference, you know, when you already follow the flow of nature. All right, so the water will go down here. Okay, just make sure it's quite straight like that. Okay, again, this is the underpainting for the water. This is not the color of the waterfalls. Should be a little gray color. All right, like that. All right. And I'm gonna make an A-line shape for the waterfall. So which means it should be in a triangle, not two triangle, okay? Just in a slightly diagonal diagonal direction as you go down, like that. Okay, all right. So again, this is just the underpainting. And then I'm gonna make some dry brushing. So I'm gonna use some gray color, same. And I'm gonna apply like that. And start using my fingers down here, like this. Like that. And even down here, along the water line. Again, this is the underpainting. We'll be doing something else later to give it more life. All right. I'm gonna extend right here. My paint is still wet, so I can still see some black paints mixing with my whites, but it's all right because we're still underpainting. All right, so that would be the underpainting for the mist. All right, like that. And now we move on to the sky. Okay, and we're going to make some cloud. I have here a super, I don't know if I'll be using this one because it's quite thick, stiff. So this one, I'll be using a round stiff brush to create some clouds. I'm just gonna dab onto my white and just create some clouds. Okay, I think I'll be using a finer or a softer brush just to kind of blend the colors. Or maybe, I don't know, just my hand. I'm gonna get some gray, kind of apply it to the clouds, because clouds are not really just white, you know. Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna add some trees on top. Okay, let me check on camera how this looks like. All right, so it's good. If you're wondering why our cloud is looking weird, that's because, you know, I don't worry so much about, you know, making weird clouds. Besides, there is no particular cloud shape that we should follow. As I was saying, I am not really worried about making weird shaped clouds because it will be covered with some trees later. We just want to suggest that there are clouds in the back. All right, so now let's proceed to making some trees. And for that, I'll just be using the stiff brush that I have here. It doesn't matter as long as it's quite as long as you can make a straight line using your brush, you can use that. So I'm gonna make some tree trunks. So I'm gonna combine black, brown, and green. So just make some tree trunks. It will be covered later anyway, so doesn't really matter. Alright. Like that, okay? And now we proceed to making some foliage. I'm gonna add some dark green, okay? Really dark. And I'm gonna start creating some foliage. If the paint's still blending or mixing, just try to apply the paint over it quite gently. Okay, I think my tree is quite leaning to the left side, so I think I will make it a little straighter like that. And again, everything will be covered with paints. I'm gonna dab on to my browns. So I'm gonna add hints of brown on the trees on top. We don't want it to be super green. We want it to be looking natural. I'm gonna add some yellowy colors right here, and then switch back to greens. Here. So just alternate between using greens and blacks. All right, and then for the trees right here, we're gonna use more yellow to kind of lighten lighten the mood here, and to suggest some light as well. I'm gonna add some light yellows. Just dab it on, without worrying too much about detailing it. Just dab, continue. As long as you use the colors that I told you, the earth colors that we have here, you are not going to get lost or anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna switch to white to add some more light colors. Right here, okay. Here as well, like that. Okay. Then let's go back to dark greens. So I think I need more black because I already ran out of it. Okay. I just wipe to a lot of brown. Okay. So since I have here my brown, I'm just gonna dab on some tiny hints of brown on the rocks. Okay, now let's go back to doing some foliage. Okay, now I'm gonna make some foliage on the rocks. These are just hints of grasses and molds on the rocks, because molds are forming when there is water. So just again, mix your colors by creating some yellow greens and greens. You don't want it to be just super green or super yellow. There should be some sort of variety in the greens and the yellows. Okay, even down here, I'm gonna extend it even further. Some hints of molds. Okay, I wonder how this looks like, because I'm not looking on the camera. Oh, that's nice. This is actually nice. All right, now we can go back to the water, because we haven't highlighted the water, to be honest. So I'm gonna wash my brush out. I'm just gonna get pure white for that. Okay, I'm gonna get my pure white and again start making some water highlights. And then I'm gonna dry brush right here and blend. To create some mist. And I'm gonna make some white line. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this area. Right, it's nice. I'm gonna use this white and add it to my brown to make some light brown color. I still want to create some highlights. Right, like that. Okay, I'm gonna add some, just hint, okay? Just a hint of brownie color right here. And some yellows as well. Okay, just to not make it look like flat. Okay, I'm gonna add some more brownie highlights. Like that. Okay, wash your brush out. Okay, I'm gonna get more green because this needs more green, especially on the water. We haven't really focused on the water. We're focusing on the rocks. But again, I think I'll be using my palette knife later. Yeah, I think most probably. All right, we will be fixing some mist here. So we're gonna define even more the water. I'm gonna get my phthalo green. I'm gonna mix my phthalo blue together, add black. Okay. I'm gonna apply that down here. I'm gonna add more black, apply it on the sides. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna use this color to kind of add some colors down here. To add some greeny colors on the rocks. But because of the water, it kind of blends with the watercolor. Like that. Like that. Okay, where my canvas is moving. I didn't realize that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna wash my brush out. I'm gonna make some more detailing. Just gonna get my brown, dark brown. I'm gonna make some more tree trunks from afar. I'm gonna lighten some areas. Okay, I'm gonna get more black. Just gonna apply that along the sides of the waterfall. And also here, down here. Okay, let me see that. Yeah, I hope you can see that. All right, now I'm gonna add more foliage. So the more you do some brush strokes up here, the more your foliage look or appear fuller. Or the more it looks a little fuller, okay? So I'm adding some hints of blues on the rocks. Like that. Let me check. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, now we're going to make some water reflections. I'm just gonna get my palette knife. So yeah, I'm back. So I just got my palette knife. Sorry guys, you know, my videos are quite raw and I don't really like edit it, making it very aesthetically pleasing. I just go as I go. So I have here my spoon because I think I made a video telling you how to use your spoon as an alternative to palette knife. But I also have here my palette knife just in case, you know, some of you want to know how I'm going to use my spoon as a palette knife, then I'm going to use it now. So I'm going to use this one to dab onto my brown. Okay. Gonna add white to lighten it. And just like using a palette knife, just hold it onto the handle and then try to make some brush strokes downward. No, not brush strokes. Motion. Move it in a vertical motion like this. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna get my black, mix that with the color that we have, and I'm gonna make some vertical, oh no, horizontal direction. Now I'm doing some vertical. Like that. Okay. Now for those who are interested in using the palette knife, as usual, I'm just gonna use the back of my palette knife, and just like what we did with the spoon, just dab it on to your black and brown. You can add white. And then I'm gonna move up and down like that. Gonna get my burnt sienna and white. Create more rock-like textures. Okay, so that's basically it for the rocks, but we're gonna go back to that later using our ordinary brush for more detailing. I'm gonna use this brush to get some water reflections down here. So I'm gonna dab onto my white. I'm just gonna use mostly the edge of the palette knife, and I'm gonna apply like that. Okay, I'm gonna apply it in a horizontal motion like this, and as I go near me, I'm going to make it wider, not whiter. Yeah, like that. Okay, I'm gonna get my gray because I also want some gray highlights. All right, like that. Also here along the sides. Okay, like that. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it for now. Let's go back to the rocks. I'm gonna add more black to some areas just to keep it, or just to give it more indents. like that. Okay, and I'm gonna use the same black again to just go back to the water. And to your green color, phthalo green. Okay, now I want to use some yellow. I'm gonna get my yellow. I know that you cannot really see this in the reference, but I feel like I should use some yellow. Like that. I'm gonna get some white and try to blend the two colors. Okay, I'm gonna add some brown. Yeah, just like this. I kind of like it. Okay, and then some dark greens. Okay, gonna use again my palette knife just to put back what I just painted over. Yeah, like that. I kind of like that. Okay, now let's do some more water mist. Let me check. All right, we're doing good so far. We're doing good so far, but I still want to add some more mist here. Like that. And then extend it all the way to the edge of the canvas. Like that. I love it. Gonna get some light brown. Really nice. Gonna get some black. To give it more depth. Okay. I'm gonna use my white straight from the tube. Like that. because I kind of want it to give it more light. Actually, this brush is too stiff. Yeah, like that. I kind of like that. All right. Now that's really nice. Okay. So I think we're done, guys. We're done, guys. This is good. So I'm gonna sign this now. Or if you want to add more detail, because I feel like I should. Sorry, guys. I keep on adding last minute because I saw that it's quite empty right here. It needs more highlighting. Also some molds here. Just add more highlights. These are tiny details that you may do away with, but I just want them to be there. All right, that's really nice. Okay, this is so good. I'm gonna sign this now. I'm gonna sign right here. And for the signature, I think I'll just use burnt sienna here. It's too watery. All right. So I think that's it, guys. We're done. We're done. You can actually see how beautiful our painting is today. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. And if you like this one, like this video, share this with your friends. And yeah, subscribe to my channel. Basically, that's it, to give you more videos similar to this. And I do a lot of videos, not just landscape. I do still life, I do animals, I do flowers, so I do water paintings. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this one. I hope you're enjoying my channel. See you in my next video. Love you.